Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here. Today is Tuesday, the 11th of May, 2021. Thank you for tuning in. Now, we're going to go and we're going to take a look at an article. Let's start it right here. It's from John Rubino. The article's called Daddy is Not Coming Home to Fix This. It says John Rubino and his fears that he has. He says that let me expand the chart a little bit. I'm a little bit short here. It says there's no easy way out for the financial and political mess the United States has created for itself. You don't know what John Rubino looks like. That's what he looks like right there. It says, look at lumber. If you're trying to build a house, it's $35,000 more now than it was 2 years ago. Iron, house prices, grain, food, you name it, we've got inflation going on. And he also goes on to say, this is what you would expect if you get the money supply going up 30% or 40%, which it did. That's what you get. The economy overheats. We are now confronted with a nightmare scenario in a fiat currency system. A nightmare scenario. The system collapses, and we are in the early stages of that kind of a process. And he says, I don't think anybody knows what to do about it. You know, I'm going to tell you what. It's true. Right now, he also goes on to say right here, he says, the Mad Max scenario is the extreme end of the spectrum of possibilities. And, you know, I've said on my show that I don't think the Mad Max scenario is going to happen. Very, very remote chance that that would happen. But what is a very high probability that's going to happen is that we're going to go through something like or similar to what Weimar Germany went through, you know. And we're heading toward that really fast, and there's no way to stop it or put the brakes on at this point. The Fed, they have a tremendous tool that they use to fight deflation with. And Ben Bernanke said it best himself. He said, if we have to, we will drop money from helicopters. And yeah, you know, deflation is where your dollar starts to become worth more. Nobody has any money, and prices are coming down. That's not what's happening right now. What's happening right now is there's a shortage of goods and services. People don't want to work because they can get more on unemployment. And we're a consumer-based economy. And so it's just a no-brainer is they're not going to continue to keep supplying us with all these goods and services unless we offer stability in return. And the dollar's becoming unstable. They're printing it. Now, there's a very important thing you have to understand. That this hyperinflationary scenario cannot happen if the velocity of money is too low. If we look at the velocity of money charts, what do we see? You guys are into charting. What do you see? You see a double bottom. You see the velocity of money's fell and fell and fell. If this was a chart of any commodity or something like that, you know, you'd say to yourself, hey, we've just put in a double bottom. What happens after you create a double bottom or bottom in the market or commodity or anything else and it's at its lowest point? What generally happens? Generally starts to go back up, turn back up. This is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the velocity of money to turn back up soon. And, you know, the quarterly report's going to be coming in pretty soon. And we're going to see. And I'm expecting it to turn back up and then go up sharply from there. So this hyperinflationary scenario that I've been talking about, we could be much deeper into it than people may imagine or can possibly realize. And it has a certain sort of a slingshot effect. In other words, once it gets going, it increases speed exponentially fast, you know, the hyperinflation, because people start to lose confidence in the purchasing power of the fiat currencies. Let's take a look at what's going on with silver today. how they have the audacity to smash silver and gold when we're moving into a period of lack of confidence in the fiat currencies. They're using paper rigging to do this, to accomplish this. This has nothing to do with the physical metals. This has everything to do with how much paper that they create and trade on the market. And so we're looking at a gold price that's down $6.20. It was worse. It's come back up some. $18.29 for gold today. Let's take a look at silver. $27.44. It's up 18 cents on the day so far for silver. I'm going to tell you guys what. This is unavoidable what's coming. The Fed cannot control inflation. If they try to print more money, it's just going to make the inflation worse and feed it. If they don't print and they decide to tighten monetary policy, the system will start to collapse. At this point, they're caught between a rock and a hard place, and this is why they're even discussing options like a $1 trillion coin. These are options that are way out there, you know, things like repricing gold. These are options that are like moves of desperation at this point in time, because we're heading head first into this thing. What's going to be the outcome? I don't think it's going to be a Mad Max scenario. No. What we're actually going to see is a partial in areas. We're going to see it's like an old pair of jeans, and when they start to wear out, you get these holes that pop here and there and everywhere. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to have areas where we're going to have, let's just call it problems, you know. This is what they had in Venezuela. You know, generally these areas tend to be the higher population areas like urban centers and things like that is where the problems are going to occur. And for some people who are out in the country, you know, if you're in the right spot, when the hyperinflation hits, you're not going to notice a whole lot of difference in anything except prices are going to go up really fast. Other than that, things might be fairly normal, but maybe 100 miles away from you, there might be chaos occurring. This is this is what the collapse, I think, is going to be like. You know, it's going to be dependent on your area, and it's hard to tell now at this point in time just what areas are going to be adversely affected. So, and it's going to extend. It's going to extend to Canada. It's going to be terribly bad in Europe, because you just can't have a collapse of the fiat currencies without affecting the entire world now at this point. This is a worldwide thing. And so the chaotic areas that are going to break out are going to be like the holes breaking in a pair of pants, you know, and you're going to see it spread, and it's going to be certain areas where in the world. It's hard to tell at this point in time just how bad it's going to get in certain areas. I think Europe's going to be really bad, because I think this could affect the euro big time, you know. And euro-dominated countries, you know, could be really bad, worse than the United States even. But this is where we're headed. We're headed towards some sort of a revolutionary change to the entire world that's going to, almost like a separation between, this hyperinflation is going to be so bad, it's going to be almost like a separation between the old, what we used to have, and something new that's evolving. Anyway, take a look now at cryptos. Cryptos are 24.41. Cryptos haven't went down any today. You know, Bitcoin price is hovering around 56,000, but Ethereum's at 4,000. We got a new coin that jumped into the picture, you know, and it's right next to XRP, and it's called Internet Computer, and I don't really understand it. I was looking it up last night. I was trying to read the white paper, and I didn't really understand. It's got something to do with the internet or whatever. It's called Internet Computer. It's at $403 right now, and it's moved in right to the number 8 position, which I think is pretty amazing that fast. I didn't even see it coming. Anyway, Dow Jones Industrial Average, 34,243. It's down 499 points. Seems like it's starting to rally a little bit because it was down more earlier. Let's take a look now at crude oil, 64.64 today for crude oil, and it's off by 28 cents. Move index. We're looking at the move index turn, and it's starting to rise right now. It's at 55.48. Let's take a look at bonds and rates today, and we're seeing rising yields today. U.S. 10 years at 1.624. It's risen 2 basis points. And the U.S. 30 years at 2.35, and it's risen 3.2 basis points. So now let's take a look at the dollar index, and it's at 90.11, and it's slowly falling today. Just barely holding up into the 90s. Okay, guys, listen. That's it for today's show. I'm going to tell you guys, I just don't know exactly how bad because we've never been through a worldwide hyperinflation before. This is actually going to be a worldwide hyperinflation because back in 1971, when they disconnected the dollar from gold, all of the world's fiat currencies were connected to the dollar. In other words, they used the dollar as a base reference for value. In other words, the dollar was the support behind all the world's fiat currencies. They were had no intrinsic value whatsoever in themselves. They relied upon the dollar to base the value of what those fiat currencies was worth, and the dollar was connected to gold. And so all the fiat, because the dollar was connected to gold, all the fiat currencies were connected to gold because they were connected to the dollar. When Nixon come along, it's like a giant balloon, like the fiat currencies are like a giant hot air balloon, and it's being held to the ground with that gold. Gold was the support, and that was like the rope holding it all to the ground. Nixon came along with a big pair of scissors and cut the rope, and the dollar started to float off into the air, and all the other fiat currencies pegged to it. And what's happened is it's lasted until now. Yeah, it has. But that's because the dollar was loosely pegged to oil, because you couldn't buy oil with anything except dollars. Now what we're headed toward right now is they have mismanaged the dollar. They've just got finished printing like 7 trillion of them, or 8 trillion of them, and they're giving them out willy-nilly, every which way. I mean, what else would I call it? They give every person a $1,400 check. They're just giving money out. More than that they've done, but that's just an example, using that as an example, And you just can't go, you have to use money as money. Money has to be something that you work for, or you produce a product, you make a good, create a service for. Not just receive money from the tooth fairy. If money rains down from heaven like it's coming from the tooth fairy, what happens is that money loses its intrinsic value. Why are people going to work for it when you can get it for free? Doesn't make any sense, does it? But what happens is people start to lose their confidence in these. All the fiat currencies are going to go down together in a hyperinflation, worldwide hyperinflation. What is the solution to this other than areas, and they might be rather large areas, devolving into some sort of chaotic situations? Could be the power goes out. It could be the internet goes down and nobody's there to fix it because nobody wants to work. It just, the situations that could evolve go on and on and on. They're endless. Because we've never been through this before. We're totally in uncharted territories now at this point. We've never had a worldwide hyperinflation. Generally, when you have a hyperinflation, they always reach out to something to use as a means of value to exchange and so on, while the fiat currency's being destroyed. They don't want to use a fiat currency. It's becoming worthless rather quickly. Nobody wants to take it. So they always turn to something. This time, if it's a worldwide hyperinflation, what are they going to turn to? Well, I'll tell you what. History has shown us there's only one thing that they're going to turn back to, that people are really going to rely upon, is gold and silver. They're going to turn back to metals as a means of trade. And that trade is going to be have to be established rather quickly, because you have to have something of value that retains its value in order to continue with trade. That's what trade's all about. People don't want to trade for something that's losing half of its value each day. You know, and if all the fiat currencies are losing their value very quickly, you got a big hot mess. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the very next show. Bye-bye.